for that intro.
You're welcome.
Welcome back, everybody. Last we left our party, we had left the city of Crystal Cove, moved forward to Dumdaral at Nariko's request. She had a couple of things to tie up in this town. As you guys pulled into port, you realized that there is a odd-looking storm cloud that appears to be enveloping the town. Not enveloping, but is blocking the sunlight from the town. Seemed a little bit unnatural, even for a city up in the mountains. Bit dark and stormy as opposed to mountain misty. That sort of difference. As you made your way into town, you realize that there is things are not well in Dumdaral as a a uh, uh, a team of Duergar have moved into the mines and apparently has choked out the rest of the town from being able to use it. Without being able to use the mines, there is no mining. Without mining, there is no smelting and creating of iron goods, which Narco saw as a threat to some of her business as well. Um, you had spoken to Garrick, who's the tavern owner of the Iron Knight Inn, who had let you know about the Duergar moving in, and that he suspects that the Iron Hammers at the brewery may know more than they are letting on. So you had gotten a room here at the Iron Knight Inn. Garrick was extremely grateful for the business. The party convened, talks amongst themselves. Yuki, sitting out in the tavern, learned about the Miners Guild. How once the mines were kind of choked out, the miners tried to get back in unsuccessfully, and a lot of them have tried to move on to other places where there may actually be work for them. Uh, and when we last left, the professor was heading up to the roof of the Iron Knight Inn to try something funky. So we go back to the Iron Knight Inn, and I will leave it back to you, Professor. What is it that you're up to?
So, Professor heads up to the roof, and he's gonna summon Jeffrey out.
Please give me a charisma saving throw.
I'm gonna choose to fail it.
Okay.
Oh no. What does it mean? Oh yes.
And then he starts to take a length of rope, and he's pulling the braids apart so that he has several small strings, and he starts to takes like the silverware and the metal objects and things that he took from the tap room and start to fasten them to a staff. And he just as he's doing this, he looks over to Jeffrey. He's like, "That storm up there, do you feel anything? Any strange connection to it at all? Any sort of indication of void magic?"
Jeffrey looks up to the sky, looks back up to you, Professor, and all you kind of get the feeling of is storm, rain, lightning, but nothing, nothing that would be out of place in this world.
Okay. He just kind of nods to himself and he says, "Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling too. But doesn't hurt to try. Well, it might hurt to try, but I have to know." And then he kind of stands up this makeshift lightning rod he made and stands up straight and kind of holds it out as far out from his body as he can. And he says, "Listen, if this kind of works out and I go down, I need you to go down and get Jade, bring her back here to heal me as quickly as possible. Do you understand?"
In in Jeffrey's eyes, you kind of see a vision of Jade reaching out to touch you.
He nods. He says, "Perfect. Right. Let's do something stupid." So he casts detect magic. Kind of have that detect magic field up, and he kind of presses his free hand to one of the metal parts of the lightning rod, and he starts to focus shocking grasp into it with the intention of kind of supercharging it with negative ions to try and coax lightning out of this cloud. If he can charge it up hard enough and big enough with negativity, he's hoping that he can coax a bolt of lightning down, and then through that bolt he'll be able to sense whether or not there's any sort of magic involved, what kind of magic, and hopefully whether or not there's some kind of void magic.
Okay. So you go to touch the lightning rod. You use shocking grasp. That is an attack roll, right?
Shocking grasp is an attack roll.
Please make an attack with shocking grasp with advantage.
Do I need to?
Oh, hell yeah!
Yes, because it's a metal item that you're using shocking grasp on.
Right.
Oh my god! You freaking okay.
You were saying?
Alright. You touch the rod with shocking grasp, you cast your lightning into it. You critically hit the lightning rod. I need you to please give me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Wait, let me guidance that shit. 18.
Guidance doesn't help on saving throws. It only gives you.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it's only.
I just
checks.
Right, 16.
You take 10 points of lightning damage as lightning shoots down from the cloud, strikes the rod, attracted by your shocking grasp, gives you a really heavy jolt. And as you have your detect magic up, why don't you give me a Constitution saving throw to maintain concentration on that? Okay. So your detect magic remains, even though you take a quite a nasty shock. At first you get a sense of the type of magic that you are using to cast the shocking grasp. As the lightning bolt hits the lightning rod, what you feel is a mix of transmutation and conjuration magic.
Okay. This lightning hits it, and he takes that damage, and he immediately gets kind of blown back, and he lets go of this rod. He kind of tumbles backwards and shakes his hand like he's like just burned his hands. Like, ah! Right. Okay. Note to self, don't do that again. Don't do that again. But, and he kind of scrambles to his feet, and he's talking to Jeffrey. Like, good news is, got a bit of a hint of what's up there. This is definitely summoned. I mean, it's pretty obvious that this isn't normal, but someone's doing this. He kind of rubs his hand. Walks over to pick up his staff and shakes it violently to shake all the metal parts off with his crappy knots on his strings that he tied them on with. And he looks up to the sky one last time and sighs, gestures to Jeffrey to follow him, and goes back downstairs.
Jeffrey will he will obey your command, and he will toddle on behind you as you go back down.
I will rejoin the tap room and just kind of look for some of his peers here.
As you walk back into the tap room, those of you in the tavern area will see the professor. His hair is kind of standing on end. A little bit of charring around his hands. Kind of a wide-eyed, shocked look on his face.
I think it's about that time that Jade and Reverie were leaving their room to come out to tell the others what they had learned from David. Is Yuki there at that table?
Yeah, yep, she's there.
Okay, so probably Jade would have gone directly to Yuki first. And I've been like, Yuki, we learned something about the magic that was, no, I'm gonna not shout about this. We learned, we have some information about the magic, the cloud, the
Really?
storm. Yeah, should we get the others together in the room again? I see. Oh, no. What happened to the professor?
Yuki will follow her gaze at the professor. Her eyes will get wide. Her tail will fluff up a little bit. I have no idea, but we best find out.
Yeah, let's go. Excuse me.
Yuki will walk up to the professor and say, Professor, are you alright?
He's like smoothing out his coat and trying to flatten his hair down with like singed fingers. Like, what? Yeah, of course. Why do you ask?
She just takes one of his hands, turns it upside down, and points at his singed finger like, no, you're not gonna, no. Nope.
Oh, yeah, it's just doing a bit of an experiment with lightning, that's all.
You all did hear the thunder as the lightning struck the lightning rod, by the way.
You were
Why?
playing with lightning? Why?
I wanted to get a better understanding of that storm cloud up there.
Oh,
You don't do purposeful experimentation without a few charred fingers here and there.
I got information about it, though.
Did you? What did you learn?
Why don't we take this conversation somewhere a little less public?
Oh, yeah, Yuki, you're right. Yeah, do you want to come back to the room and we'll talk about it?
Oh, right.
Maybe we might have learned two different things, though. I didn't actually play with the lightning, so.
Sure, let's
Are you all right though?
I'll be fine.
Had...
Nothing a bit of a rest won't fix.
On the way back to the room, Yuki is going to stop at the bar and ask for a mead and some butter.
Garrett kind of gives you a weird look, and he says, "Meat and butter? Well, really?
Please."
Well, I suppose I've heard weirder requests. It'll be 2 silver and a copper piece."
She'll give him the money.
And he pours out some meat from one of the barrels behind him, and takes out a small dish of chunk of butter.
Perfect. She will pick up the mead, grab the butter, nod her thanks to Garrick, and go join the others in the room. Once there, she's gonna hide in the corner here. She's going to walk up to the professor. Obviously, not gonna move my token because we're all like in there. She's gonna, yes, that is a technical term. Relative distance. She's gonna walk up to the professor, put the mead in front of him. Is the professor sitting by chance?
He's probably just sort of standing there.
Okay. Yuki is going to gesture to a chair. Like, Professor, please have a seat.
He raises a brow, but takes a seat.
She will take the mead, put it in front of him, take out the butter, and rub the butter on his burned fingertips. While she's doing that, she's going to be saying a soft little chant and purring to start some healing and to add a little helping little mini first aid to his burnt fingers. She's going to say, at the monastery, I would when I started learning tea, I struggled to find the balance of too hot and too cold. More often, I leaned towards too hot. This trick of using butter has helped many times in soothing the pain of burns.
Back when you were at the monastery, were your fingers made out of potatoes?
She smiles and says, "Sometimes it felt that way." And then once she puts the butter on his fingers, she'll kind of gesture to the meat again, say, "Please, tell us what you've learned." And she'll go and sit on the desk in the corner where my token is.
He looks at the bottle of mead. He's like, "You want me to tell the bottle what I learned?"
No, darling, us. But the mead is for your troubles.
Oh. Oh. Well, are you caring for me? Well, that's very sweet. He kind of gushes a bit and picks up the mead and drinks it. Kind of.
Yuki is going to slow blink at him as he does that. For those who don't have cats, slow blink means that they care about you.
Cat smile. He nods and looks to Jade. He's like, "I'd be happy to share what I've learned, but Jade, you mentioned that you learned something as well."
Oh, yeah. But after the closet, Reverie and I were talking, and we asked David if he might know any answers, and David said that there's a spell that can be done. It's called it's a weather spell, and if it's cast in the same place for a year, it's permanent. But this has only been here for 4 months, so it's not a permanent thing. And David said that because it's not permanent, the person who's casting it has to actively be casting it. So, and they have to be nearby, like within 5 miles or so. So there's someone who's actively here, keeping that storm above us. At least, I mean, here, I'm relative here, not necessarily in this area, but within 5 miles. And but it's being cast. It's a spell, and it can be dispelled, or we could break the concentration on it. It is a bit of a more powerful spell, so it might take some work to do. But whoever's doing the casting, they're still here somewhere, anyway.
And I roll to see if I understand anything about the spell she's talking about.
I'd say Arcana. You've heard of a spell that can control weather, aptly named Control Weather.
Would I know what school of magic it uses?
At an 18, I'd say so. It's transmutation.
Okay. You're right. Oh, I didn't think of that a bit earlier. Control weather. If I remember correctly, it's a transmutation spell. That's good. And then he thinks for a moment.
Narco knows as well with her 20.
And we were talking, and if the people inside the caves, the mines, I guess they're not really caves, they're mines, are actually Duergar, it's probably that they need it to be dark because they're from the Underdark. So I don't know if it's one of them casting spell, if they have they're able to do that, or it's and she looks at Reverie and she says, or if it's somebody else, but it might be beneficial, maybe, if it was gone, because then they couldn't. I mean, I don't know if the sunlight is dangerous for them. They get fingertips like yours or something.
Curious. Well, that's certainly a good thing to consider, how the Duergar will be impacted by this. I feel like I could probably confirm the casting of the spell. When I called the lightning, I was listening to the resonation to try and figure out if it was magical and what kind of magic was holding it there. And indeed, what I got back, besides burnt fingertips, was actually transmutation, which would lead you to believe that control weather was absolutely being used. But something else that really makes me curious, this is the real brain teaser here. It also pulled back conjuration.
Did David give me anything about conjuration?
I do not believe so.
What does conjuration do in the sense of a storm? Other than conjuring the storm, is that part of it?
Well, controlling the weather would be the transmutation. The school of conjuration, I would think, would be more towards maybe the person or thing that is using the spell, maybe? I don't know. Further research is required. I don't
Maybe
know.
don't. Maybe don't.
I think I might have a theory there.
Please,
Joe,
please.
Joe, with the dirty 20 Arcana check,
Mhm.
can Naruko know about the spell called Lightning?
I'd say so.
Naruko will chime in that there is a related and much less powerful spell called Call Lightning, which is actually a conjuration. Because control weather, you're actually modifying the natural weather and pushing it to assume the form that you want. Call Lightning is a bit more of a brute force method. It creates a small thundercloud immediately that you channel, and then you can direct the resulting lightning to strike at targets of your choice.
Do you think the storm is hiding a thundercloud?
I think
Or the storm is the thundercloud?
if this particular manifestation of magic is showing both of these spell forms at once, I think it reduces the likelihood that we have a singular caster. Part of my theory here is that the only powerful spellcaster, and Control Weather is a very powerful spell, the only possible candidate I can think of would be this Temerity, or Temerity impersonator, whoever you want to call it, that we do know was here with the Duergar at some point. But it couldn't have been her maintaining that spell for the requisite amount of time, because she had to have been with us in Crystal Cove for a number of days.
That's right. And David said that it has to be. I mean, I guess. But David said to make it permanent, it has to be cast every day in the same place every day for a year. So
Indeed.
if she left, I guess though that maybe they don't necessarily need it to be permanent, but
There would have been
Garrick
some
said
break in the cloud.
right. Garrick said that it has been here for 4 months the whole time. So
So, with that in mind, with the sort of the unique blending of magic and the less likelihood, although still possible, less likelihood that there is a singular caster here maintaining it, we may be dealing with something more of a ritual, or perhaps an artifact. Dundaral did have an incident with curses being laid upon it in the past. We may be seeing
Right.
something similar to that. An aftershock, or a related phenomenon. Either way, I think that if the members of the clergy here have some sort of insights into what the root cause is, I think from there we can maybe extrapolate what the squatters in the mine are attempting to get out of it.
Or at least warn them that they might be trying to come up from underneath.
Indeed.
I'm sure they probably already thought of that, but
Yes.
something.
Thank you, Professor. I'm going to echo your opinion that we not do the peer review and repeat the results to see if we get the same results from your experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, stings like the Dickens.
Maybe, I mean, you're your own person, and I can't tell you what to do, but maybe just don't do dangerous experiments on... Where did you do that? Were you actually on the roof?
Well, lightning does tend to hit from the highest point, and the highest accessible point would be from the roof, yeah.
You went up all that way by yourself? Maybe just, I mean, well, oh, I see you have Jeffrey, so you weren't really alone, but maybe don't go by yourself, because we don't want you to get hurt, please.
He kind of tips his head to the side, and he kind of looks into Jade's eyes for a moment. And only a moment before his face softens and he nods like, yes, of course.
Jade lets out a bit of a breath and just gives him a bit of a smile. Oh, good. Good then. Just... good. Before we go, we're all here and it might be important later, so, I want to introduce you to David, just in case we need him. I'm sorry I didn't introduce everyone earlier. It's just... well, here, and, I open my bag and I'll take out a very well kept, although slightly weathered looking, humanoid skull and set it just gently on the table so that everyone can see David. David, this is everyone.
Do you want me to pull out
Everyone.
token?
Yeah. Can I do that? Oh, you did it.
Yeah, you should be able
Everyone?
to.
This is David.
You see, Jade pulls this skull out of her little silk bag. It's covered in lace. As this skull comes out, it looks like a normal skull. Well, actually, Jade, do you want to describe a little bit more in detail what David looks like?
Yeah,
Show us the big picture.
So it is a humanoid skull. It's very clean, although it is weathered from just time, and etched. If everyone's looking closely enough, etched across all the bone are a variety of different arcane symbols across the jaw, around the cheekbones, over the forehead, and a very large, almost seemingly disproportionate to the rest of them, a very large arcane sigil on the back that extends from the left side of his head towards the back, but leaves a bit of the right side kind of unbalanced, as if it looks finished, but it looks like there's a space for maybe potentially something else to be going there. And as David is set on the table, all those arcane symbols and the light and the skull and the eyes of the skull light up with a very cheerful, like firelight glow, just oranges and reds.
These two pinpoints of light slowly come to life in the eye sockets of the skull. It kind of flicks around the room as if they're a pair of eyes, kind of looking at each of you, and you hear a voice coming out of the skull. Even though the mouth doesn't move, the voice comes out and says, "Oh, hello."
Hello, David.
Hi, David. This is Ren.
Oh,
And Reverie, Reverie. And this is Yuki. And Noriko. And this is the Professor and Jeffrey.
Hello.
the professor.
Nice to meet you all.
The professor gets like right down and like close enough to like examine all the markings over this thing. He's like, "Oh, you are beautiful, aren't you? That is a potent cocktail of magic. I've never seen anything like this. Are there any sort of cultural significance to these markings that I could discern?"
Give me history.
As the Professor gets down to look closer to David, Jade's just hovering very protectively over him. She doesn't stop the Professor, but she is, like, nervously. Like when you have a puppy and you're letting other people play with the puppy and you're like, what if you don't? Alright.
Nothing, Professor, that you've definitively seen before, but the etchings are decisively infernal.
Infernal. He doesn't touch David at all. He just kind of gets close with his face and looks him over like, "Oh, you're infernal, aren't you?" And he kind of gets back up again. He's like, "Hello, David. Nice to meet you. I'm the Professor."
Oh, hello. I'm David. I'm guessing you're Miss Jade's friends. She talks about you a lot, you know. She likes the lot of you.
I do. It's true.
We like her too.
It's nice to meet you, David. I'm sorry. Normally we shake hands. Do I just pat you on the head, or?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Narco, still observing David through her monocle, will very, very gently and politely pat on the head. Joe, what does identify reveal?
Identify reveals that this was once indeed a human skull that has been taken out of the hells and brought to the material plane. Inside, you, with your identify spell, you recognize what is inside is called a spirit of intellect. It's kind of a non-corporeal spirit that is able to speak out loud, but it is sentient. It does have its own mind and thoughts. Typically, I don't want to say serves a master, but kind of has a master. Even though if the spirit were to leave the skull, it would be mostly left to its own devices. But typically, these spirits of intellect, they have vast knowledge, though they're not very helpful outside of what they know.
Oh. Naruto will sort of nod and say, "Oh, how exactly did you and Jade come to be acquainted?"
Oh, her father met us, hooked us up together, and been traveling with her ever since.
Yeah, Papa was, well, he knew I was nervous about going out on my own, so, he got me David, and, David's been with me ever since. He's great. He was my first friend before Reverie was my first friend here.
And David, have you always been in this particular form?
As long as I can remember.
Interesting. Well, if you've been assigned as an advisor to Miss Jade, I'm sure you have a wealth of interesting knowledge to share with us.
The little pinpoint flames and the eye sockets kind of dance around. It's kind of like a sign of it's happy. It's been
Mirth.
complimented and recognizes that.
Okay. Naruko has many more questions, but they're all about what the hell Jade's dad does, and that'll have to wait for later.
This and that.
This and that.
knows-
Went out to get
He knows the
groceries.
guy.
He knows a guy. Oh, that just raises more questions.
So, David, were you listening when we were talking?
I'm always listening to Miss Jade.
Oh, that's right. I know. Sometimes, you have your own thoughts, and it's okay. And she picks him back up off the table and just kind of cradles him against her chest. Did you hear the professor say that there was also, conjuration magic in storm cloud above?
Yeah.
Do you think that, what Noriko was saying might be happening? That there's another spell cast inside?
Could be that the spellcaster is creating a spell that's coming out of the other spell. That happens sometimes.
Oh. Okay.
Or just it's as Miss Nariko said, could be some kind of ritual where it's kind of like a layered thing. It's a spell within a spell. Very tough to pull off that.
Would a ritual have to be cast at the same time every day, too?
To make it permanent, yeah.
Okay, so it still would have to be. If we interrupted the ritual, then the storm cloud would probably go away.
Yeah, that stands to reason.
Okay, so it's at least we know a little bit about that. That's good. Can anyone else think of any questions? Somebody's really nice, and it really answers almost any question you can have if he knows it. I'm sorry again. I didn't introduce you earlier. I just didn't want you to. I didn't want David's feelings to be hurt if you didn't like him.
No, he's going to be joining us on this excursion. It's good for us to know him. He's another resource for us to confer with.
Yeah.
He's also apparently always listening, so that's good in case there's any concerns of private conversations.
Mhm. Yeah, he hears everything. So, and if there's a problem.
Right. I don't know how the monastery would take David, so perhaps it would be best for him to travel in the bag for that particular visit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm gonna put David. I'm gonna put you back in my bag when we go into the church.
That seems prudent.
So I'll put you back in there, and if since we're gonna maybe be going somewhere dangerous and doing dangerous things, if you hear anything that I don't hear that is important, please tell me.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Okay. Good information all around. Is there anything else we need to discuss before we stop over to see the abbot?
I guess the only thing I have is if what Garrick said was right, and then there's a is it the abbot or is it the other one that has might know more than they're letting on?
I think we said it was Abbot Olaf.
It was the abbot. All right. How much do we want to say, or are we just gonna go? I'm not great at keeping secrets too much. I get nervous. I can just not talk, and that's also fine. But if we wanted to, are we trying to figure out what they know, or are we just telling them we know that something's going on?
I think for this case, honesty is the preference. My family has had dealings with the Ironhammer clan for a long, long time, ever since that wandering monk made use of my mother's services to transport and disperse a lot of the ale that comes out of the brewery. I think, given their religious leanings, showing that we are here to help, that we have honest intentions, and that we have backing from the Sentinels, I think so long as we are forthright with them, they should return it in kind. If nothing else, we can push upon the fact that they really seem to be in desperate straits here, and they really can't afford to turn away any helping hand. I can't think of any reason for them to distrust any of us personally, so...
That makes sense. Yeah, okay. So we do that, and then I suppose we figure it out, depending on what they know. Yeah?
That we do.
I am nervous. But I'm gonna be there, and I'll do my best to make sure nothing happens to anyone.
Right. I almost forgot. One of the reasons why I wanted to stop here was because of the temple, because I wanted to ask them about Ren. It's because Ren apparently has some sort of connection to the god Thanatos. I was wondering if maybe other experts in the divine might have any insights for him to help him along.
That is kind of you to think of me.
Well, I don't like leaving mysteries unsolved, and I am well studied on a lot of things, and the professor has a wider scope than I, but when it comes to gods and the divine and all of that, I don't know anything, really, besides what a few cursory texts, so...
I know some things, but probably nothing helpful.
Experts! Always good to find experts where we can. So yeah, let's go see what we can get out of the abbot regarding the situation here in town. And if nothing else there, perhaps we can learn something about Ren as a consolation. Not hearing any dissenting opinions, Narco will start heading to the door.
Ren will follow.
Yuki will follow.
Professor stand, and before he steps out, he just like, how long do I have to keep the butter on my fingers? It's oily and smells delicious.
Do your fingers hurt anymore?
They kind of tingle.
Well,
It's fine. It's fine. I'll walk it off. Nothing a little fresh I can't fix. He kind of wipes off his hands and just trots out.
Ew. Trying to figure out how to get both tokens at the same time. There we go. The little ninja mask means David is in my bag. Because I don't actually know how to make the token go away.
You just click it and hit delete on your keyboard.
Oh.
Yeah, I found that out by accident when I deleted Narco last time.
Yeah,
I didn't want to actually delete it.
I'm also using just a symbol because I don't want to delete and then drag out of my journal every time.
Yeah. Well, David's like actually always with me, so.
Alright.
There we go.
We'll gather some tokens. Yes.
Right? So these monks are the Iron Hammers. What? It's a monastery, so it's a church of some sort, but to what?
Oh, so the god Ilmater, he's a god of sacrifice and martyrdom and generally good virtues like that. He has a saint, Saint Dionysus, and Saint Dionysus was well known as a patron saint of, well, brewing, drinking, revelry, community festivals, that sort of thing. Some call him the saint of taverns and hearths. And the dwarves, being lifelong brewers, very fond of that particular saint. So the monastery here is devoted to Saint Dionysus' teachings as well as his craft. And
Oh,
the Ironhammer clan has been sort of the primary patrons of that institution, and Ironhammer Ale, as a result, is sold and appreciated far and wide.
oh, well, that seems like a nice god.
Certainly very popular.
Yeah, I can see why. If it's a god of brewing and things that people like to enjoy. Do we know Dionysus?
Mr. J, Dionysus is the god of revelry. We might not know him personally, but he's out there. He is quite popular.
He's the same one. All right.
Yeah.
She said martyrdom and sacrifice. I thought maybe it was two different gods that had the same name. No, it's the same one.
They are actually two different gods. There's Dionysus, who's the god of revelry, and then there's Ilmater, who is the god of martyrdom and revelry.
Oh, so it's not the same god with two different names. It's the god and then his saint.
Right. Yes.
Oh, okay. That was my fault then. I was getting them confused. I was thinking it was two separate. It was the same person with two separate names.
I mean, Narco kind of interjects. Honestly, the confusion is not all that uncommon. I'll be honest, I've yet to really. I didn't spend much time in the temple. It was very small, but I still haven't really gotten the full story on how exactly a saint like Dionysus wound up being patronized by Ilmater.
Maybe they're friends.
Maybe. They both tend to be very positive towards helping the common people and the meek and those without means. But anyway, to no one's surprise, the brewery is pretty much right next door to the biggest tavern in town, so it's a very short walk.
Oh, it looks like there's a connected walkway.
Probably how they just roll the barrels from one to the other.
That makes sense. Okay.
Alright, time to go to another place where Joe asks if we have an appointment.
Do you have an appointment?
As you approach the monastery, there is the symbol of there's a holy symbol for Saint Dionysus. There's also a logo for the Ironhammer Brewery, which looks like a very happy, portly monk in brown clothing. Big old jolly smile, wearing the monk's cap. He's got a nice big frothy mug of ale in his hand, kind of giving it cheers. You approach the door. I assume you give it a knock.
That we do.
After a few moments, a wizened old dwarf shows up, long white hair, white beard, wearing some nice shiny looking armor, blue robes, answers the door. He opens up and he says,
That wizard.
he opens up the door and he says, "So, good afternoon. How can I help you?
Hello.
I have to ask because you mentioned like blue robes. This a sentinel? We got a badge?
Not a sentinel. Not like sentinel's robes. Just just blue garb.
Okay. Does he seem to be like a brother of the monastery? Or...
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. Naruto will smile and say, "Good afternoon, brother. My name is Naruto von Grutzner. I represent the von Grutzner Trading Company. I was hoping I would be able to come in and speak with your abbot."
Let's see. He looks at you, Naruto, and he opens the door. He goes, "Please come in. We'll pour you a pint."
Very kind of you. Naruto will step in.
What brings you to see the abbot today?
Oh, well, unfortunately, it would have to do with the various troubles that Dungaral has been seeing lately. Naturally, with the mines seemingly inaccessible and the general state of town, you can understand why our company would be very concerned about the economic health,
Yes, of
especially
course.
since.
The Von Grutzeners are also a big boon to our business as well. I can see how that would go both ways. And this dwarf kind of fixes a pint for everybody and kind of spreads it out. He shows you into this nice sitting room. It's a typically big, wide room as dwarves tend to build, even though it's inside a building. Nice red carpets laid out, trimmed with little gold. You see symbols of Dionysus, kind of like symbols of like a wine glass and grapes, that kind of symbolism all around this large room. Nice big warm fire built in the fireplace. It's actually quite warm and welcoming. Nice big plush couches, kind of arranged around a nice seating table, place where you can put your drinks down and have some snacks. He kind of shows you inside and sits you in and passes rounds of ale around. And he says, "Yeah, it's quite an ugly business, that." Oh, I should introduce myself.
Side question.
Yes.
What is the legal drinking age in your setting?
Whatever it is, this guy does not seem to be concerned about it.
Fair enough.
This is Scotland rules. Like, you're with an adult. It's fine. You can have one. Have one.
Just about to like, all right, Naruto, you're old enough to be married. You're old enough to be drafted for a war. You're not old enough to drink. Sorry.
Can't drink yet. Nope, sorry.
He says, "Oh, my apologies. Where are my manners? My name is Brother Gimli Ironhammer. I'm the steward here at the monastery."
A pleasure, Brother Gimli.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you all as well. I'm sorry you couldn't have visited on better times.
Better times may soon be had. We're not here just to interrogate the abbot about the goings on, but offer our assistance as well.
Interrogate the abbot? You make it sound like you did something wrong.
Oh, nothing. Was very surprised to arrive here and discover this state of affairs has been going on for months now, and yet no word had been sent to our company or anyone else. Well, just a bit strange.
Well, he kind of laughs it off. He says, "Well, you know the pride of dwarves. We don't like to go looking for outside help. We try to solve all our issues in house."
Naruto sort of smiles sweetly. She says, "Oh, yes, indeed. But, well, if the von Grutzlers have to be the busybodies, after all, trade can't happen with just one person, can it?
Aye, that is a good point.
Well, my friends here have not had the opportunity to sample a genuine Iron Hammer ale before, so we'll enjoy the hospitality provided while you uh, bring forth the apple.
Of course, yes, I will see if he is available. Please, excuse me for a moment. And
Thank you.
he'll kind of go off a side door and close behind him. You see there's like kind of a little bit of a walkway as he descends deeper into the building and leaves you to yourselves for the moment.
Oh, this smells like burning and wheat.
You definitely get the smell of the crackling fire in this room. There's obviously a nice chimney that's letting the smoke out, but you get the smell of the crackling fire, so you get that like wood burning smell, kind of mixed in with the smells that you normally would get with the brewery, like the smell of the wheat, the hops, the barley, all kind of mixed in the air in this place. But the rounds of Iron Hammer Ale are put out in front of you. It is anyone who have any kind of experience with this kind of thing would know that this is their top brew, their best seller, their most liked. So their Gimli was absolutely putting a best foot forward.
I like to imagine at some point they tried to change the recipe. There was horrible outcry, and now they have Iron Hammer Ale Classic.
Probably.
It's called Brother Edward's Finest. That's
I think I've still got,
Yuki's. Go ahead.
I think I still somewhere buried in my notes have like the list of all of the stupid names that came up for all of Brother Edward's spells and his crafts.
Mm-hmm.
They were amazing.
I think the potion of speed was like Sucker Punch or something. That got used a lot.
that got used a bunch.
Haste in a bottle, bonus action to drink. Terrible idea. Absolutely terrible. Shame on you, Joe. Never should have allowed you to do that.
But it was fun.
Terrible
It was-
idea. That was so fun for everyone.
So amazing.
I regret nothing.
Me either.
So I think Yuki's gonna set herself up kind of in a corner on like a nice comfy chair where she can see everybody and kind of observe everything. Just kind of staying out of the main action and just sipping her Iron Hammer Ale and just kind of observing the interactions of everybody.
Jade will pick up her own tankard of ale, flagon of ale, sir, and then sniff at it.
It's
This
beer.
This is not tea. Is it going to be rude to not drink it? Should I drink a little bit of it? I'll take a sip.
Would that be like a history check, I guess? Or cultural
Roll
mores
roll
related
for
to...
culture. Yeah, history, sure.
Roll for me. Dirty 20.
I think you would know it wouldn't really be considered rude to not drink. It's just a show of hospitality. It's a show to
Okay.
try to make you feel comfortable here, and that's how the dwarves feel everybody is to it. The dwarves think that everybody should have an ale, and that makes everybody feel comfortable.
Ah, okay. So, knowing that she will take a sip of it, just to accept the hospitality being offered to her. And then immediately set it down.
After a few moments, door opens back up. You see Gimli rolls in. In front of him, leading the way, you see another slightly older dwarf, balding on top, darkish kind of hair. Even in this old age, he's wearing like a priest's robes. Again, long, flowing beard. Shows up like this guy.
Ooh.
He, grumpy as he
I
looks,
remember him.
he walks in. He's quite jovial. He says, "Good evening, patrons of Saint Dionysus. Welcome to the Ironhammer Brewery and Monastery. My name is Brother Olaf Ironhammer. I'm the abbot here. I understand you wanted to ask some questions."
Indeed, Brother Olaf. As Brother Gimli may have told you, I am Noriko von Grutzner.
Yes.
With me are my traveling companions, Reverie, Jade, Ren, Yuki, and the Professor.
Oh, welcome, welcome. How are you enjoying the ale?
Hello.
It's delicious. Have you strayed far from the original recipe? I can't say that I've had the original, but this is very popular everywhere.
Oh, we did try to, and he does air quotes, improve on it once. It didn't go over so well, so we went back to the original.
Tried an experiment, got your fingers singed, hey?
Well, we did have one among us who was the best at what he did, and no one has been able to replicate or best it ever since.
Sometimes things just aren't meant to be improved upon.
I would wholeheartedly agree.
Yes. Mother always spoke very fondly of Brother Edward.
Oh, your mother knew Brother Edward.
Oh, yes. She said the dwarf was a gifted madman, as she liked to say. Always coming up with new ideas, never satisfied with letting things stay the way they were. She says they rubbed off on each other a lot, which is why the von Grutzners were given sort of the primary contract for distributing Ironhammer Ale across all of Uzura.
I suppose that makes sense, given the long history that the Ironhammers have had with the von Grutzner Trading Company.
Indeed. A history that I look to continue in place of my mother as we go forward. But indeed, if we are to have a future, I think that the various problems that are plaguing Dumdaral certainly needs some addressing. I understand if you have been reluctant to send word of this outside, but we are here and we intend to help in whatever way we can.
My dear, that is very noble and kind of you, but there's some very powerful forces that are down there in the mines, and we've tried to confront them once. I wouldn't suggest you lot going to do it. We're quite seasoned and experienced, and you seem to be fresh on your feet, if you don't mind my saying so. It's, we think it's better off just kind of holding back and waiting till it blows over. I'm sure they'll be on their way any day now.
Yuki smirks and arches an eyebrow as he says that. She doesn't say anything. She's like, yeah.
Oh. Why?
Well, they can't stay down in the mines forever. I mean, they're not even extracting the iron. Reverie, the insight that you get off of that is that it's more of a hope than a certainty.
With all due respect, Brother Olaf, we respectfully disagree that if they have taken up their positions, either they have some further plot that will bode very ill for you, or letting them linger holds us from potentially solving their issue. You see, we know that there was someone present, this powerful force that you mentioned, a powerful spellcaster, a tiefling of white skin and gold eyes.
See Olaf and Gimli share a look, and they look back to you, Nariko. Gimli nods, and he says, Ah, yes, a tiefling with grey skin and gold eyes. Yes, she's quite powerful in her own right.
Indeed. I regret to inform you that while this, I don't know if you would call it a siege exactly, but this occupation, while it has been progressing, uh, that same tiefling left from the mines and took up a spot in Crystal Cove, where he led an insurgency against the Sentinels, stealing from them a number of important artifacts, and directly threatening the life of me and my companions in the process.
See, Olaf perks a brow and he says, and you survived to tell the tale.
We did. And she pulls out the little sentinel pin. And since that incident, although not entirely willing, we have great cause to seek out this malefactor and discover just what it is she was doing and why we were roped into it in the process. The Lord Captain Commander Emeritus, although perhaps he is being reinstated into that position, Fedwin, has given us his blessing to pursue this. And so it is with backing of the Sentinels, the von Grutzner Company, and my plea to you as, well, perhaps we're not clan with the Iron Hammers, but we do seek to be very close in working with you, to let us offer our expertise before something very bad happens to you.
Olaf and Gimli again kind of trade a look with each other, and they look back at you, and Olaf says, What do you propose?
Well, first, that cloud hanging above the city. It's some sort of magical construct, conjuration and transmutation matter intermix. Similar to a control weather spell, but its behavior seems off. We were curious what you knew of it.
Gimli speaks up and he says, the only thing I know of it is that it showed up when the Duergar did. I'm afraid I don't know much more outside of that.
So it's reasonable to assume that whatever the Duergar are conducting down in the mines is what's sustaining that dark cloud?
It's possible. I don't know for sure. No one's been into the mines since the Duergar pushed us out.
Has there been any evidence that the Duergar are using the mines to access other places underground beneath the city?
Olaf says, there's no evidence to suggest, but there is a constant hammering sound. Whatever they're doing in the mines, they're looking for something. And it's not iron, because they haven't pulled out a single ore.
Are you sure if your access has been cut off?
Well, if they were trying to pull iron out of the mines, there would be activity of that. We would see them taking it out and transporting it somewhere.
What if they're not taking it out?
Did you
What
see
if-
them come in?
No, nobody did. They just showed up from the depths of the mine one day.
Then they could be taken out the same way.
Oh.
I do not think you have considered all the options in this situation very thoroughly.
Gimli responds and he says, well, it's not like it matters. We can't get in there.
Your town is dying. It seems to matter.
Well, I suppose.
Beverly, were you going to say something?
Nothing else.
What is the roadblock to getting into the mine? Is there a blockage? Do they have guards stationed?
They have guards stationed outside. I know they have miners inside, and they have that grey tiefling. And
Well,
This.
The Grey Tiefling, as we've discussed, does not appear to be among their forces anymore.
How long ago did you see her?
This was 4 days? Question mark?
3?
3-4 days ago.
Again, Olaf and Gimli share a look, and Gimli says, "We just saw her here yesterday."
Interesting. Well then.
When you see her, what is she doing? Do you just see her at the entrance of the mines?
We see her at the entrance of the mines. She talks to the guards, and then she goes back in. Can't understand what they're saying, though. They're definitely not speaking Dwarvish.
Oh. And they haven't... When they showed up, they didn't say anything? They just pushed out? Did they try to hurt anyone, or did they just run you off?
They did speak in Dwarvish when they first appeared. They said, "Get out, or they're going to kill everybody," and the mines were theirs until they were done with them.
But they haven't attacked anyone.
Well, only when we tried to push back in.
When the Grey Tiefling was at Crystal Cove, they also didn't full out attack right away. They waited until they could steal something that was very magically important that the Sentinels were guarding. Do you have anything magically important that they might be after?
You see the two of them again share another look. Anyone who wishes may give me an insight check. Whew.
Dang it.
Narco, you giving guidance to yourself?
Yes.
Professor too?
See?
20, 24, 16.
Well, I'm going back to my real dice.
So Reverie Narco and Yuki, you catch the look that they give to each other is kind of like a knowing look, but they look back to the rest of you and they shake their head and they say, "Well, there's nothing in the mines we can think of. It's just iron in there."
No, but as discussed, they're obviously working and digging in some direction. So, what might they access buried underground besides the mines?
Olaf, kind of flustered, puffs up and he says, "I truly, truly don't know what is in the mine that they could be searching for. We've been in those mines for decades, centuries. It's just iron."
Right, like you said. We're not asking about the mines. This is a dwarven city. There's plenty underground. Crypts, basements, vaults, any number of things.
You see, he
They
swallows.
Tell stories about the last time that Dumdoror had something bad happen, and there were hidden caves and tunnels under the mine, underground.
Does Gimli speaks up and he says, "It's just the crypt under the brewery here." And you see, Olaf shoots him a look, disapprovingly, and he says, "Yes, there is a crypt under the brewery here, but it is only where we have our most revered brothers buried."
You can do a lot with the remains of someone.
Insight check. Just the revered brothers are down there?
He's not lying about the crypt being under the brewery. He is withholding something about the crypt underneath.
Yes, well, the brothers may be buried under there, but what do you bury with the brothers?
Their most treasured personal belongings, of course.
Hmm. And if you were a very powerful tiefling sorcerer, wizard, whatever, would anything that you have buried with those lost brothers be of interest?
Give me a persuasion check, Yuki.
Oh.
Okay. Digging for information. Persuasion, you said?
Yes.
Fuck how? Yuki might have had a little too much of the Iron Hammer Ale.
You're having a good time, huh?
She might be feeling a little too big in her pants. That's alright.
Olaf goes, just the brothers.
The professor kind of stands up, and he just says casually, "If it's just the revered brothers, you wouldn't mind our going down there and paying our most reverent respects to them, would you? Bestow upon them our varying prayers from our gods of prosperity in the afterlife. Of course, being the revered brothers that they are, they absolutely deserve the respect of the people of this world. It would be our honor to be able to give our blessings from our gods so that they might enjoy the afterlife that we enjoy here in the real life."
Give me a persuasion check.
Ooh, yeah.
You see Gimli goes to open his mouth and say something, but Olaf cuts him off and says, it's a very sacred place for us. Only Ironhammer clan are allowed. And Gimli puts a hand on Olaf's shoulder and says, brother, stop. We know Garrick's been saying things about us. You know he's not entirely wrong. We need to come clean. Olaf kind of grunts in frustration. He says, fine. I'll take you down to the crypt. There is one such tomb that may be of some importance.
Nariko has not drunk any of her Iron Hammer ale throughout this exchange. She smiles, lifts up the mug, and says, "Thank you, Brother Olaf, for your trust and cooperation." And then she'll take just the single swig. She is not a beer drinker, so this is entirely for show.
She's a classy lady.
She is a classy lady. She's also like, okay, coffee's number one, tea is a second. Alcohol, though, I am 16, and what is this?
Why does it taste like dirt? Does not say that out loud.
I won't say it's bad because anything that is Brother Edward's legacy, like, it cannot be bad. It can just maybe not be your favorite or not to your taste, but it can't be bad. But yes, with that, she will get up and make ready to follow the dwarves down to the crypt.
So Olaf, a little bit defeated. Gimli kind of looking not quite shameful, but almost kind of relieved to be able to tell something of what's going on. They lead you down again that side hallway that Gimli went down before. They kind of take you through a couple of turns through some of the halls in the brewery. They bring you to a cellar door where Gimli pulls out a very large keychain and unlocks the door, leads you down into the crypt. So you go down a flight, and the smells in the area, they turn from that wood burning, wheat and barley kind of smell to more of a musty, uh, kind of humid but cold kind of air as you descend down. And they first lead you through a chamber where you see there are three large crypts. I'm sorry, like three large coffins in this crypt. Each At the head of each is a statue of a dwarf. One in the center is a portly but built out kind of dwarf, full metal armor with the helmet, has a giant halberd, a plate at the bottom of this tomb reads Dural Ironhammer. To his left, you see a statue of another dwarf in more of friar's clothing, but wielding a sword that appears to be on fire. Has a bit of a beard, bald head. The name under this one is Torok Ironhammer. And to the other side is another grave that is marked with all sorts of symbols of Dionysus. A portly, jovial looking dwarf statue at the head of this one, looking very much like what you see on the logo of Ironhammer Ale. Plaque on this one reads Edward Ironhammer. But he takes you further into the crypt, and kind of like in a back corner, hidden away from the rest, you see a coffin, like a stone coffin, that is sealed, that has no statue and bears no mark. And Gimli stands at the foot of this, and he says, "This might be what it is you're asking about." And he nods to Olaf. They go to one side of this coffin and they start to push the stone lid to the side. And as they do, you notice that this coffin is empty. However, you all see a number of arcane runic etchings on the inside of this coffin. And if you give me a moment, I'm going to be sending a whisper to one of you in Roll20.
Oh,
Secrets.
Cool. Just to make sure that you're doing multiple things at once because your job isn't hard enough already, my detect magic goes off at this point as they start to open this lid.
Woo!
Detect magic. Jade, you detect necromancy.
Cool.
Uh-oh.
So she's standing there as they're pulling that open, and towards the back with Reverie, just she meant what she said. She's going to be here, and she's not going to let anything happen to her friends. And as they start opening this coffin up, her eyes go gray, and there's little flecks of starlight start to flicker out as detect magic just envelops this section of the room. And she'll lean in to Reverie and just very quietly whisper to her, "It's necromancy."
It's familiar.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Familiar like the same sort of place
This-
you woke up?
Yep.
This one isn't made of glass.
saying this out loud.
Talking quietly to Reverie. But yes, out loud.
Loud enough for anyone else to hear, or just like amongst yourselves?
Jade was trying to keep it quiet, but if we are all in a small room together, so if anybody wants to try to listen in.
If you're trying to keep it quiet, why don't you give me a stealth?
Oh right, not the digital dice. Let's go with the real dice. Let's see what the real dice do. Rolling stealth. Okay. Better. 13 for Jade.
Okay. Olaf and Gimli kind of turn their attention towards the coffin. They do not seem to be hearing you.
Yuki will step forward, peer in the coffin, look at Olaf and Gimli, and say, "Who was laid to rest here?"
Olaf sighs and he says, "Laid to rest? No. Created? Yes. Your great tiefling that you are so interested in meeting, we believe may have woken up from this vessel."
It's a chamber for a clone.
Who
Olaf,
put it there? Did you put it here?
Olaf and Gimli look right at you, Reverie, and they say, "What? How do you know?"
I have seen one before and had the mistress of the School of Magic in Moonhaven confirm it for me.
Oof.
Are the arcane symbols on this, are they like active, or is this like leftover from when this was being used for its particular spell?
At this point, it's left over. It does not appear to be active. So there's just really nothing more than just etchings in stone at this point.
All right. Well, I think that decreases the likelihood that they're intending to break into here to steal it back. I don't see what the value would be.
But then why stay here? Do you have this in a place that's for your most revered brothers who passed on? Why is this here with them?
Gimli kind of gives a look to Olaf, and Olaf says, "We were approached by a wizard some time ago, looking for safe places to stow her clone pods, I guess you could call them. She offered a great tribute to the monastery and brewery to allow one to be placed here. We knew that she would wake up, well, the clone would, upon the death of that wizard, and we would conduct routine checks through the crypt to see if anything had happened, though we had assumed that if it did happen, she woke up, she would come seek us out and alert us, but that didn't happen. And on our last check, we came and we found the stone lid had opened and the body inside gone."
When was
How
that?
long ago was that?
That was 6 months ago.
6 months ago?
Yes.
And how long before that was the previous check where nothing was disturbed?
Well, at one point we started checking weekly, and then bi-weekly, and then monthly. We've been going down there at least once a month.
So between 6 and 7 months ago, this wizard's clone came out.
Assume so. Yes. I don't know how they would have gotten past anybody without us knowing.
Joe, would I be
Yes.
able to make an investigation check of this room to see if there are any sort of hidden passages out of here?
Sure, yeah, you can give me an investigation check. You investigate the room, you take a good look around, looking for telltale signs of any kind of secret passages, doors, stairs, passages to the outside, anything the like, but what you come up with is that this is a solid stone room underground, and there does not appear to be any other exit other than the way you came in.
Gotcha. And remind me, when the underground, from the first campaign, the underground stuff that led to the curse and all that, that was under the monastery or the temple?
It was under the monastery. There was like a big door that had several stone keys inlaid in it. I will mention you did pass that door, but it has been resealed, though the keys are still in the door.
Okay.
The wizard that approached you about placing this here, who were they?
A wizard from the school in Moonhaven. Her name was Temerity.
A gray tiefling with gold eyes?
They both kind of nod somberly. Yes, gray tiefling with gold eyes. We don't know why she would have come back here. We know it's not to try to retrieve the clone body of the pod, or she would have come straight here. We don't know why she would instead decide to go to the mines.
Unless it's not really her.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, what if it's just someone who looks like her? Who's the person that everyone seems to know is Temerity, keeps saying Temerity herself would never do such things. How close did you get to her to know if it was actually her?
I suppose that's a good point. We didn't think about it. She showed up with a small treasure of gold, enough to keep the brewery running for years. Just on that investment alone, and she wanted nothing other than to leave that coffin in our crypt.
So maybe this is someone. Maybe that was Temerity, and then this person is not Temerity, or vice versa, maybe. But if she put this in your crypt and she asked you to keep it safe for her, What
She
else
knew
could a
something was
powerful wizard want from here? And she has to be powerful to make a clone, right? That's what the headmistress Nessa said.
What'd you say, Nariko?
I thought Jay was trailing off, so Nariko was completing the thought that
Oh,
if Temerity set up one of her clone bodies here, she must have thought there was something important here that she could access or protect.
Maybe that's it. And maybe this person is imposter person is trying to get it. If the maybe they took the clone body away so that she couldn't access it and then are pretending to be her.
Gimli shakes his head and he says, I truly do not know, miss.
We need to get past the Duergar and find whatever it is they're either unearthing or building down there.
Many have tried, Olaf says. They are powerful. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yuki smirks. She smiles a little bit. She says, "No disrespect, but you had a wizard clone in your crypt, and then it got out, and I feel that maybe fresh eyes are best for this situation. Were there any warriors who attempted to go down to the mines and failed and lived that we might speak with?"
Most of the Miners' Guild is left, but whatever's left probably gathers at the Iron Knight Inn. There's also Father Vincent. He had his clerics from the Temple of Omater go down there, but nobody got hurt, but nobody made their way into the mines either. Gimli and myself went down too, but we were rebuffed. Easily,
they're
I
not-
might add.
They're not actively attacking anyone. They're just keeping you from going further forward.
That is what it seems like, yes.
When you say rebuff, was it magical, like a force that propelled you, or was it them with their arms and weapons that faced you out?
First one, then the other.
Hmm.
You've been somewhat hesitant to trust us up until now, and maybe you have good reason. But whatever this person is up to isn't benefiting anyone. In fact, your town is almost barren because of it. So I'm going to ask, and I hope that you understand that I'm only trying to help. Is there a secret entrance to the mines that somebody might use if they were looking to get in and overthrow the Duergar that are in there?
There was an entrance down by the lake, but the Duergar collapsed it. Not really a secret entrance, just another entrance.
Collapsed?
Brought the rock right down on top of it.
How much rock?
Good chunk of the mountain.
Hmm. Narco starts thinking. How
Go ahead.
Do you have a map?
Map of the
Yes.
mines?
The mines, any of the nearby basements or other tunnels from around. Just a good overview of what the underground topography looks like.
You'd probably want to see someone from the Miners Guild for that. They would have more information on that sort of thing than we would. We don't really go. Gimli and I don't really go into the mines as much as they do. We don't really have a need to.
Okay. So, with business being how it is, how much of a stockpile of alcohol do you have?
They kind of frown, and Gimli says, "Where are you going with this thought?"
Narco just sort of gives a smile and says, "Have you weren't able to attend Crystal Cove for the expo from the latest inventions from the Von Grützner Armory?"
That's correct.
Let's just say that if no other options present themselves, I am going to take some of Mother's advice and try to bring a little bit of mad genius to the table.
And that involves our back stock of ale.
It might. I'll let you know if we go that direction.
Well, sure, but you're expecting to buy some barrels. That's fine. I suppose you can do whatever you like with it.
Indeed. But we'll see if it's an option first. I'd rather not bring down the other half of the mountain.
I would agree.
So, Miners Guild. More information on what we'll be facing and potential points to infiltrate. Narco turns to the rest of the group. Anything else we can think of?
It just shakes her head.
All right now.
Once again, thank you, Rabbit Olaf and Gimli, for opening up to us and giving us your trust in this matter. Should our investigation turn up a chance that we might be able to repel the Duergar, we'll inform you in case you want to have a hand in reclaiming your town.
Sure.
Joe,
Yes.
looking around, do I see anything that I saw from when Reverie first woke up? A place for rations or like clothing or anything like that.
You do see that there was a stone shelf that was by that particular coffin, but that shelf has been emptied.
Do I see any sigils?
On that,
Like a glyph of warding, like was in where I woke up.
Give me a perception check. You notice that there was one there, but it had been disarmed.
Yep.
Should we go?
Yeah, I'd like to leave.
Olaf and Gimli nod, and they say, "We'll escort you back outside then.
Thank you.
And they'll lead the way back up the stairs and through the brewery and back to the front door.
Thank you again for everything, for letting us know.
They kind of nod, and Gimli says, "But please, if you do try to face the Duergar, do be careful."
We will. We're going to try to help if we can.
They kind of nod and smile to you, and as you all exit, they close the door behind you.
Okay, how about a million questions? Should we wait on that and talk to the miners first, or should we convene together first?
I think we should probably talk to the miners.
Okay.
Yes, I agree. Let's get all the information first. That way we can form the best possible plan.
Right. My questions more surround what Headmistress Nessa told us, but yeah, let's go do that. Reverie, are you okay?
I'll be fine.
Okay.
All right. Well, we know where to find the Miners Guild. They're drinking their sorrows at the inn.
Yeah, Yuki was eavesdropping on him. She knows
Yes,
exactly
she
what they are.
was. Hell yeah, she does.
Back to the inn. Everybody following.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Back to the inn. Not much has changed since the last time you left. It's still kind of quiet. Still the same parties gathering around. The kobolds are fighting over the last scrap of meat that they have on their table. The dwarves and that half elf on the other table that Yuki was listening in on, just kind of drinking in silence.
Yuki will walk back over to her seat that she was at earlier, and looking at everybody, she'll kind of lean over, and in Dwarvish, say, "Excuse me, might we have a word?"
This redheaded dwarf next to you kind of like gives you the side eye, Yuki, and he responds to you back in Dwarvish. Sure, got nothing else better to do.
Yuki's gonna look at Naruko and kind of nod. Sorry, I'm thinking how to phrase my next question without being offensive to dwarves. She's going to kind of look at them, just straight right back at him. He's giving her the side eye. She's not even fucking blinking, and she's going to say, "If you have nothing else to do, then maybe you can help us get your minds back."
See, he kind of looks at you for a second, and then he kind of busts out in a full belly laughter, turns to his companions and says in Dwarvish, this little tabaxi girl is going to get our minds back. And then they all kind of join in the laughter with him as well.
Does he have a drink in front of him?
He does.
Cool. Can I try to get it from him?
You can make a sleight of hand check.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sleight of hand or stealth?
Are you trying to be sneaky? Well, if you're trying to do stealth, it's going to be with disadvantage because it's right in front of them and in the eye shot of two other people. You can do
Cool,
sleight of
okay.
hand to see if you can grab it before he notices that you're trying to grab it.
Alright, you know what? I'll take that bet. With guidance from Naruko, I'll take that. Alright. God, don't be a fool.
You grab the mug. The three of them immediately stop laughing and stand straight up in their seat. They're staring at you. The dwarf with the red hair looks at you and says, "Give that back. It's not yours, and I paid for it with what was left of my gold."
Yuki looks at him, kind of quirks her head, and she drinks his beer.
I need you to roll initiative.
Fuck!
Just for sake of saying where everyone's at, when we went in to go look for miners, Jade went towards the kobolds. So she's on the opposite side of the room right now.
Perfect. I was gonna pay for it, douchebag.
Yeah, that was a huge insult to a dwarf.
That's fine. Fuck him.
Alright.
You wanna see what we can do, motherfucker? That's fine. You feeling froggy? Let's best fucking jump.
I like how Naruko spent the last half hour talking with and getting the dwarves of a monastery to trust us, and then Yuki just comes in and just like, fuck it, I'm gonna fight you instead.
You don't think we can do shit? Alright.
I mean, to
they're
be
called
fair,
aggressive negotiations.
they've seen their miners themselves as well as a band of clerics from the temple go down to fight these guys, and all of them fail.
That's fine.
1 minute. Let's give this one. Get these guys some colors.
You guys wanted to fight some, didn't you?
Yep, that was absolutely my goal tonight, barfight.
I can feel your sarcasm.
What? Me? No.
Never.
I was expecting this to be like
Yuki's the
teaching
calm
moment
one.
with Yuki and the beer and like, yes, I took your stuff. But here, oh, now you have the fighting spirit, and then like spin that some way. Like, nope, no.
Nope, just this broke guy's last drink that he was able to afford. I'm gonna drink it right in front of you.
Yep.
Alright.
It's balanced. You insult me, I'm gonna insult you.
Alright. We'll see how that works out for you, Foss.
That's actually called retribution.
I mean, sure. Tomato, tomato.
Don't start throwing retribution around when it comes to dwarves, because those grudges don't die.
They absolutely
don't.
Not. Okay.
And it'll be applied to your entire clan.
Yeah, Naruko's about to get punched because she was standing within 5 feet of Yuki when doing this. So.
I have a plan! It might not go well, but I have a plan.
Professor, what is your dex score?
My dex score is 16.
Roll me a d20. Professor goes first. Jade and Ren, what are your deck scores?
That's true. 15 overall.
15?
17 for me.
Okay. Nope. And then Reverie and Naruko.
I have a 14.
Give me D20 rolls.
$11.
Reverie's above. Alright, so setting the scene, Yuki comes over to talk to these miners, proclaims that they're going to go into the mine to clear out the Duergar.
No, she said, do you want to talk about getting your mind back?
Oh, okay.
You,
So do you want to help?
actually, you said, do you want? Maybe you can help us get your mind back. Then
Yeah,
Right.
help us.
you didn't say talk about it.
Help us. Don't be a douchebag about it. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Either way, they laughed at you. You decided to steal this guy's beer with the last gold that he had and drink it in front of his face. They all stand up and they are ready to throw down. The one that you were talking to, Yuki,
Yeah.
is carrying a great axe. The darker skinned one has kind of like a miner's pick. And the half orc female, she's got scimitar. All of them are at least lightly to moderately armored.
Cool.
So that's the scene. They jump up. They're getting ready to throw down. And Professor, you are first to act.
He's just been kind of hanging about by the door watching things unfold and sees this happen. And he's like, oh, dear, this is probably not a good... So I'm going to move him.
I'm actually going to put the kobolds in initiative too.
What's my speed?
Eric.
35. I'm going to get right here, and I'm going to clap down 10 gold on the table and say, I am so sorry for my friend. We've had a couple days. You'll have to excuse her. Please, take this. Get yourself some more. We don't have to fight about this.
Give me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Persuasion. Oof. Yeah.
The half orc looks at you and kind of looks at the gold and looks up at you, and she says, "We're gonna take your gold, but we're not gonna take your insults. This is a matter of pride now." Speaking to the common.
He kind of looks at them like, and what exactly is the pride you're fighting for at this point, other than drinks and everyone being on edge?
You don't steal somebody else's food or drink. You don't steal somebody else's anything. And you can't get away with that.
Oh, so it's about stealing. Well, why don't we consider this a purchase then? And he will slide an additional 5 gold on the table. And he says, if you take my gold, and you don't accept this as recompense, then, my dear sir, you are doing exactly the same thing and stealing, except this time you're stealing from someone of superior intellect. Think about it for a minute.
Oh my god.
This is going so well.
It
Yeah.
really wasn't.
Guidance was your action on this turn. Do you have any bonus actions or movement you'd like to take?
I used all my movement. Yeah, bonus action, Shield of Faith.
All right. She looks extremely enraged by your words, and she's going to slash at you with a scimitar. Does a dirty 20 hit you?
It just hits.
That is going to be 8 points of slashing.
Okay.
Another slash with the scimitar, 17.
Nope.
And
I
you
like
see...
that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Concentration?
Oh yeah, concentration. I guess on your... I guess you still have... What? Detect magic up?
No, Shield of
No,
Faith.
Shield of Faith.
Shield of Faith. Shield of Faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shield of Faith's good. The second attack misses, and then you see with her offhand, she tries to slash at you with a dagger. 19?
Nope.
Misses. Yuki, Professor popped off and started getting hit.
Damn shame. Alright, we're gonna try a thing first, and we're gonna see how it goes. So Yuki is going to take the mug of now gone ale, and she'll put it down in front of the big hairy mean guy. And she's going to look at him, and she's going to say, "Do you know that feeling? How it feels right now? That anger, that rage inside of you makes you want to do very, very violent things. I understand that anger. And I understand why you want to do violent things to me. But let us redirect that anger to those who deserve it. The Duergar. They are the ones that have taken your mind. We are here to help. I only wish to talk. I only wish to help you get your mind back." And she's, by the way, she's saying all of this in Dwarvish. I guess trying to fucking Braveheart through it. She's going to say, "There must be balance, you see. What they have taken from you, we will help you get back. We are not your enemy. And like this cup is empty now, we will help refill it." And she will take another gold piece out and put it on the table. "We do not need to fight each other. Let us bond together and fight them."
Give me a straight persuasion check.
Okay, at least it's not disadvantaged. I'll take it. Okay, that's not bad.
Alright. Anything you want to do with your action, bonus action?
Ba 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 doo ba ba da ba ba. I will. I will hold a motherfucking action. And if someone attacks me, I will Flurry of Blows.
Flurry of Blows is a bonus action.
Alright, then I will skippity pat.
Fair.
Then I'll get to skippity paps.
Alright. So you said your piece. We'll see what he does with that on his turn. Kobolds. Ah! Fight! No! Run away.
Oh my god, I didn't even realize they rolled.
Jade.
So, to set the scene, Jade came in and went to the kobolds, who she thought were the miners,
Fucking amazing.
and she went to introduce herself and say, "Hello, my name's Jade. wondering if you might be able to help us. And then that shit happened. And she's gonna go, what? And look as pretty much as freaked out as the kobolds just did, and spin around to see what's going on. And then she's not good in hand-to-hand or anything, so she's going to follow the kobolds. And she's just like, "Don't worry, I'll protect you," and try to, because they're small and they are obviously terrified, and she's terrified about what is about to happen, and she's going to hold her action to cast a spell. She'll hold an action to cast a spell if one of the dwarves attacks her friends.
All right. Ren?
Ren is going to look around and see all of the calamity and notice that the dwarfs are probably the biggest problem. And he will hold an action to use Thorn Whip if someone attacks his companions after this point.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I got.
This redheaded dwarf kind of gets up in your face, Yuki. He is holding he's holding his great axe with both hands, but he hasn't raised it to try to hit you.
She does not back down.
He kind of snarls in your face, and he says, "You stole my drink. Why should I trust you?" This time in common.
She will meet him halfway, and she will speak in common, and she will say, sorry, I'm trying to get together what I want to say so I don't kill everybody. She's not going to back down, and she's going to look at him back, and she's going to nod. And she's going to say, I understand. I understand your conflict. You should trust me, because I mean you no harm. You should trust me because were I here to steal from you, I would not have put down gold in replacement. There is balance. There must always be balance. I return in kind for in kind. I offer our assistance. I want to have a conversation with you about what you've seen, what you've heard, what you know, to give us the best chance we have at getting your mine and your town, your livelihood, your money, your honor back. We cannot do it without your help. And we cannot do it if you spit in our face and insult us as we ask you for information.
Give me persuasion.
Again.
Persuasion disadvantage this time.
What? My disadvantage? I was nice.
You came in and stole his drink, and now you're saying, "Why are you spitting in my face?" I like how her voice has gone so high that her microphone
the microphone is cut out at
not
this point.
picking her up.
It has such energy of like, bro, you can't be mad. I paid you for the stuff that I stole from you, so you can't be mad that I stole it.
I was making a point, motherfucker.
Don't motherfucker me. I'm not the one who just got into a bar fight.
No, I was motherfucking him, not you, baby. This is gonna be so bad.
Oh.
So bad. God, I'm gonna die. Sorry, guys, we're all gonna die tonight.
No, we're not. Let's go.
No, we're trying very, very hard not to kill these people.
Truth.
Wait, that was the goal? I was not read it on that. Shit.
He growls, gets up in your face, he grips his great axe tighter, and he says, "Spit in your face! You're the one who came here and drank my beer!" And he's gonna swing at you with his great axe. So held actions go off.
Yay!
I cast Bane.
Who are you casting bait on?
Let's see.
Well, I guess there's only 3 of them who are really fighting.
It's just the 3 of them of my choice, yeah. So they have to make a. Do they have to make a check, or is that just I just cast it? I thought they had to make a check.
I don't recall. Cast the spell and see what it says. That's bless.
Oh, that's bless. Looking at the
Bane
wrong
has a
one.
charisma saving throw, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
That's why I'm like, there's a saving throw. Why can't I find? Because I'm looking at the wrong spell. It's a charisma 15 saving throw.
Okay. You get 2 out of 3.
Cool. So as she's there with the kobolds to protect them, her staff lights up, and very briefly for a moment, and then the shadows around them get just slightly longer, like a sunset is happening. Shadows get longer. The air feels a little heavier, and lethargy just sets in. Like they're so. It's where you're trying to wake up. You know you're just in that spot where you're so tired, and you know you have to still do things. So it's just a little bit of more of a struggle to make yourself do it. That's what settles over them as a blanket of just strangely comfort settles around them and just tries to lull them down, and they're baned.
Okay.
They will have to subtract a d4 from attack rolls and saving throws.
Okay. Yuki, your action would actually have been first to go off. So why don't you give me your held action?
Skibbity paps.
Which one are you hitting?
Did you think I didn't name it Skibbity Pap?
It's amazing.
I'm hitting the blue one.
That hits for 7 bludgeoning. You want to throw anything fancy on there? Do you have like stunning strike or any of that stuff yet, or is it just flurry of blows for your key points?
Just flurry of blows for key points.
Okay. So that was Yuki's held action. Ren, your held action goes off. You did a thorn rip. Who are you targeting?
Attack, so blue again.
That does hit. So you can give me damage.
Oh my gosh, that hits?
Yeah, that hits.
Well, sorry, sucker, take 2 piercing damage.
Nice.
Are you going to pull him?
Yes, actually I will. Thank you, Neville. Yeah, let's pull him closer. And Ren will say, this seems unnecessary.
So you kind of pull. It's 10 feet, right? That you pull?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know, I never pull people. I don't usually want this shit closer to me.
Yes, it does come back this way.
Yeah, 10 feet. Up to 10 feet closer.
I'm going to make a roll now to see if he wants to go after Yuki or Ren, who tried to pull him back. It's Yuki.
This
course
seems
it is.
unnecessary. You could stop.
He seems to fly into a rage and is not listening to you as he charges back towards Yuki. Does a 23 hit you, Yuki?
I'm not even gonna look at my sheet. Absolutely, it does.
Wow. I rolled 4 points of slashing, minimum damage. our red dwarf, who is baned, I think is going to go after Ren, seeing that Ren shot off that thorn whip. Coming up on Ren.
I do not think this is what you want to do.
He says, "Oh, this is what I want to do."
I believe you need to find better hobbies or more gainful
Rolls to
employment.
attack.
We can
Oof.
assist you with that.
Total of 7 to try to hit you, so I don't think that makes it.
No, that doesn't do shit.
That's with the subtracting the d4.
Red's going to give him a withering glance.
Rushes at you with his mining pick and swings at you, and you wouldn't think that a centaur of your size would be able to react as quickly, but you kind of like do that like quick like duck out of the way, and the pick just woofs right in front of your face, completely missing you.
I believe there are better uses for that tool.
Too bad we can't get into the mines to use them.
We would like to assist you with that.
Well, maybe once your friends stop insulting us, then.
That I cannot control.
Rever, you're
Brett
up.
is just so no nonsense about it all.
I look at Garrick. What is his reaction?
He is very displeased, to say the least.
Does he look like he's trying to stop it?
He looks like he's going to intervene.
You know what? I'm gonna not do anything this round.
Okay. That is fair. Naruto.
So Naruto is horrified because both the professor and Yuki proceeded to do the exact worst possible way of trying to defuse this situation.
Oh yeah.
And now it's so bad, Naruto doesn't think she can salvage it. Because one of them's like skewering the professor, the other one has, the main one is like gone into a rage. Can Naruto make an insight check on how likely it would even be to diplomance our way out of this at this point?
Yeah, you can make me an insight check. It's gonna be tough.
That's my favorite sigh.
Sign of just disgust.
Yep, that's the one.
There is an actual fight in the mines.
Okay. I've only got one thing. Joe, Narco. First, I don't know, 7 years of life lived in Dundurall. Picked up a bit of Dwarvish language. Picked up some Dwarvish songs as well.
Okay. Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Would I be able to have kept hold of any of the Iron Hammer Ale that we got served back at that monastery?
I mean, if you were gonna leave with a mug, they weren't gonna stop you.
Okay. Cool. Are there any Dwarven songs that I'm sure there are that deal with loss, in the same vein of Misty Mountains Cold, where it's we had this beautiful mine, this wonderful thing, and then it was stolen from us, and now we're sad and grumbly and vengeful.
Yeah, no doubt there's a song like that exists.
Okay. Nariko is going to say a quick prayer to Saint Dionysus. I was just at his monastery. Dude, please help me out here. And she is going to sweep up like the ale that she took with her from the monastery, and then like grab a bottle or two from tables, and she's going to try and intervene between the fight here and try and like very get everyone's attention. That's step one.
Okay. Give me a performance check.
He's going to try and use the dwarven love for ale and song to try and get the dwarves to as Yuki was trying to do, sort of refocus on we don't want to bring this violence into our home. We want to save our home.
Okay.
And do not have a song to belt out on cue here. I know, shocking.
But it is actually shocking.
Yes. So that is what Naruto is going to attempt to do.
All right.
Because I really don't want to have to bust out the taser right now. Alright. Persuasion check?
Performance?
Performance is I say persuasion because my persuasion check is better than performance, but I will do performance if that's your preference.
Yeah, singing a song I think is more of a performance.
Sounds good. Alright, Naruto, baby, please. I need you right now. Not good enough. I've got inspiration. I'm using it.
All right.
There you go.
We go. Also, fuck it.
So Narco goes full, I don't know, Disney princess here. Just starts twirling around with mugs of ale, singing dwarven song of home and regaining things that were lost. Garrett kind of picks up a cue from that Nariko, and on his turn, he's going to surprisingly cast a spell.
Oh.
Okay.
Which you can choose to fail. I need everyone in that circle to give me a charisma saving throw. Or you can choose to
I like
fail.
that in like 20 odd years since the first campaign, Garrett was like, all right, I need to take a correspondence course and some basic magic here.
Yeah, he's a warlock to Lorelei.
As is
That's
his
right.
wife. Ayo.
Everybody within that sphere, and the dwarves themselves that you're fighting actually choose to fail. This is a calm emotion spell.
Ah, yes.
So glad somebody had that.
Nice.
I couldn't have that, and I was like, do I have it? No. Perfect time for that.
So as Nariko is singing and has mugs of ale in her hands, the others around, you see Garrick casts the spell. He kind of like slides over the bar, and he starts handing out other mugs of ale that the other miners pick up. This dwarf that's in front of you, Ren, starts singing, and he actually starts going back towards the table, so you can take an attack of opportunity if you want.
Ren is, by the way, just too fascinated by, that is odd that they have all changed so quickly. He's just curious. He's gonna, like, actually follow them when he gets a chance, like, just studying them, because this is fascinating.
So Garrick brings over mugs of ale, joins in the chanting. One by one, slowly, the others begin to put down their arms. They start singing and picking up mugs of ale and drinking. Are you guys joining in with them?
I'm slipping the money.
What did you say?
The money that I slammed down on the table, I like swiping it back and putting it in my pocket.
Yeah, they don't seem to be concerned about that. They're into singing at the moment.
Yuki will slide the money she put down towards Garrick. She will pick up a thing and she will sing along.
Garrick kind of
Then
nods.
we'll join in awkwardly. Sorry.
Oh, good. Garrick kind of nods knowingly at you, Yuki. He picks up the gold. Singing continues, and unless anybody else is feeling froggy, that'll drop us out of initiative.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that.
I feel so calm. Yeah, calm. I wasn't that calm. There's somebody calling mentions me.
See, Garrick looks
That-
over at you and winks.
That doesn't sound very calm, Professor.
Garrick holds up his mug and he says, No need to fight. This town has been through enough trouble and enough hurt. Nothing a good ale and song can't fix. Am I right, lads? And the miners are just kind of like, at first they're kind of like, all right, and then they're like, yeah, they cheers and everybody clinks glasses and everybody's friends again.
Brother Edward smiles from the grave.
Ah, yes.
Garrick,
That's where I left the bullshit.
Garrick looks over to you, Naruko, and he kind of gives you a little bit of a nod, and he just mouths "thank you" to you.
No, that's good because I was either going to do that or everyone was going to get sprayed with acid, one or the other. So I'm glad this one worked.
And
I
option
can
B
hear
sounds like
Joe
more
laughing
fun.
in the basement, and it's not coming through his mic because it's so loud.
Um,
I'm sorry,
Okay.
River, what'd you say?
That was out of character.
So with the conversation reset a bit, Naruko will sort of once the singing dies down, she's going to look to the miners and say, "Well, it's clear that you lot still have a lot of fight left in you, but these Duergar must be quite formidable. As my associates were," he's going to hold off from inserting the word poorly, trying to communicate with you. We have an interest in making our own attempt to free the mines. Would there be anything you can share about what you've faced so far?
See, they kind of sigh and they sit down and they say, things have been a bit on edge, as I'm sure you could imagine. Well, mines are taken over by some Duergar. They have this innate ability to make themselves larger, which makes it easier to push around the little guys. They have some weird dog-like beasts roaming around the inside of the mine too. They can sniff an intruder from, I wish I could say how far away, but they always seem to know when someone that is not of their kind is around. The one curious piece of mechanic they brought in, it looked like some kind of odd mech suit that one of the Duergar could jump into, and they're using that to hammer away at the mines. Mining for who knows what. I know it's not iron. They don't seem interested in the iron, which is strange.
A mechanical suit that they can pilot.
Aye. Never seen anything like it.
I'm not really sad that Naruko isn't going to take the armorer subclass for artificer. That would have been very appropriate. She nods. And what of magical defenses?
They got a wizard that shows up with them every once in a while. Grey tiefling, gold eyes. Very powerful magics that one has.
Mhm. Interesting. And the main entrance to the mines kept under a very strong guard, I imagine.
They typically have a rotation of 2 gods that stand out front of there. What did they know about it? Heavily armored and armored. Tough bastards those are.
I see. Well, stealth is obviously very difficult with those strange dogs they have, but I wanted to ask you, do you happen to have any sort of maps of how the layout of the mine is in any of the other underground sections of the town?
Most of the underground sections of the town, they stay away from the mines. As much as we like to work with the iron, they don't want the smell of iron permeating into everybody's homes. But there is an entrance that is down by the docks, but the Duergar caved in the stone there and hasn't been passable since.
How much stone would need to be displaced to open that entrance up again?
I'm not sure, never actually measured.
Hmm. Interesting. What of the clerics, when they offered assistance to the attacks?
From the temple?
How did they feel? Yes.
They try to appeal to the more godly side, but it seems they don't have one. Better of humanity and all that.
Hmm. Alright. The narco is not so subtly wondering if there are any opportune places where a very specific amount of explosive force might be able to open them a new avenue to approach, based on like any of the information the miners can give. Does any of that seem viable or no?
Well, they will pull out they'll pull out a map for you, so you can kind of like look at the map of the mine. They do show you that there is kind of like I guess, like I said, there's really not like a back door, but it is an alternate entrance that you can go in. That's not through the main tunnel where the cart tracks are. It is by the docks. From what you can tell, looking at the map, why don't you give me a straight intelligence check for your map reading skills?
Damn, I do not have cartographers tools. I have alchemist supplies, calligrapher, smith, thieves, and tinker tools. Those are all of my fun bits. I've got a second inspiration. Might as well.
All right.
That's a girl. That's a girl.
There's Darko.
There it is.
The way the tunnel leads from that other entrance, you can kind of estimate, looking at the map, how far in that tunnel runs and how tall like the cavern ceilings are. If they were to collapse that entrance, you'd only probably be looking at maybe like 5, no more than 10 feet of rock.
Oh, I could get these guys with some picks and have that done. But that's less fun than my idea, so... Okay. I think that back entrance may be able to be opened back up. But we would definitely need some manner of distracting over at the main entrance if we didn't want them to just immediately redirect their defense and push us out. Alright. The plan's going together. She looks to the mining guild here, and she says, like I said, you've been battered, you've been beaten, but you're still in the fight. We want to save Thunderall. For everybody. And we count you as allies in this.
They all kind of share a look, and see there's a couple of shrugs that come across, and the half-orc woman looks at you, Nariko, and she says, well, shit, if you could think of something that we haven't tried, we're listening.
Okay. We already spotted Garrett like some gold for the trouble and to like get these guys refilled, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. The Naruto will say, then hold tight and fill this place with song. Silence is the worst thing to bring in when times are already troubled.
So Garrick kind of grins as you say that, and he lifts his mug and he says, yeah, you heard the lady, let's start singing! And they all kind of like look at each other, and you see they kind of start cracking a few smiles. Another round goes around, and pretty shortly thereafter, they start busting out into these guttural dwarven chants, swaying their drinks back and forth. They seem to be in better spirits.
Naruto kind of slides back over to Yuki. Well, I'm glad that worked out. I remember way back the orphanage that I stayed at for a time. It's just across the street from here. I always remember hearing so many lively songs coming from over here. That's something so much felt wrong when we got here. I didn't even notice that felt very, very wrong.
Yuki smiles at Naruko and she says, you are wise beyond your years. I would be wise to take a lesson from you.
Oh, no, I didn't know about that. It obviously was a very, very sad time for me. I'm much too young to come in the inn, but I do remember hearing the songs from outside while I was, well, anyway. I really hope that this works. I think if I can get the right materials, I might be able to open up that back entrance for us to make a strike. But again, I think we're going to need some help because if we can pressure them on two fronts, we'll definitely need to. Ooh. So, and yeah, don't mess. Dwarves don't like you messing with three things. Don't mess with their beer. Don't mess with their family, and don't mess with their beards.
Yuki smiles at Naruko and says, noted.
Let's go see the professor. He got chopped up a bit. Hey, Professor, are you okay?
Oh, hello. Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Gee, yeah. Worked for some of the magic. kind of exciting, isn't it? Bar brawling and fisticuffs and...
We'll just have this conversation. It's not exciting. Stop getting hurt.
Oh, but you really just have to have the entire experience, don't you?
No.
Having adventures. I've never had a bar fight before.
You were already crispy, and then you got skewered. Do you seek to be food for some creature?
I'm okay.
I was trying to talk to the miners over there, and then all of a sudden, everything's just happening all at once.
The miners?
Well, yeah. Aren't those them? She's going to point to the kobolds.
Do kobolds work the mines with the dwarves?
I don't know. I thought they might. They're small. You can get into places.
So, are these kobolds likely to be fellow miners, or are they like the rat catcher guild or something?
At best, they're like helpers in the mines. They might not actually do the actual mining, but they help. Kobolds will typically help do like the heavy lifting.
Well, if they are affiliated with the mines, their response to a fight breaking out tells me that they probably would not be terribly excited about helping us with the mine reclamation.
Well, maybe, but they probably know a lot about mines and...
Well, I mean, you may be right there. I'll go ask them some questions.
Okay, I didn't really get to introduce anything other than myself, so...
Narco will walk up to the kobolds. She will hide her gun, because they probably didn't appreciate the sound of that going off earlier. But she does speak Draconic.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Head to the kobolds, and she will say, "Greetings, little brothers. Sorry about the commotion. Are you all right?"
They kind of look at you shocked. I assume you're speaking Draconic to them.
Yep.
They kind of look shocked for a moment that someone like you would be knows Draconic. And they kind of look at each other. They get a little bit excited. And they say, "Oh, we stay alive because we don't run into danger."
Very smart of you. And I guess there's been a lot of danger around here lately.
Nah, danger, trouble. It's not good. Nobody getting paid. Everybody mad.
I like how the kobolds, even in their native language, still speak like slightly broken.
I love it.
It seems to fit.
The kobolds, when you get them to speak their native language, they just go, "Oh yes, thank you so much for your kind consideration."
It's almost like Draconic has different dialects, and the kobolds made their own, where they just were like, "That's too many words. We're gonna shorten this down for you." It's like Kobold Esperanto or something. Narco say, "Oh yes. When you weren't here at the tavern, where did you find work previously?"
We were in the mines.
Oh, doing what kind of work?
We lift heavy rocks. Put them into carts. Dwarves take the carts into town.
I see. When you were down in the mines, did you ever find any interesting rocks? Different from the iron?
No, just rock and iron.
I see.
Sometimes coal.
Sometimes what?
Sometimes coal.
Coal? There's coal deposits down there.
Not much, but some.
Naruko is immediately making some adjustments to her plans. Because that might be useful, but that also might be underground coal fire, which would cause many, many new problems if it were to start. Naruko nods and says, "Yes. So, we were talking about lifting rocks. I heard that the back entrance to the mine had a little collapse.
Yeah, collapse, kick it in.
Well, me and my friends, we want to take the mine back so that Duergar can be a happy place again.
Oh, you do good thing.
Yes. And so far, I'm looking to use some special magic to clear out the blockage in the back. But we also need to distract the guards at the main entrance.
Oh, special magic.
Yes, very special magic. The same sort of magic that I have in my little boomstick. He's kind of very, very carefully, sort of, and non-threateningly presents the gun.
Oh, they kind of like uh close up on you. Kind of, if you can imagine like the minions.
God.
They're just kind of whoa, and they, like get a close up look.
He says, "Would you like to help me and my friends with any part of that plan that we're putting together?"
What you have us do?
Well, I may need some big, strong dragons to help move materials for when I do the clearing of the mine, or if you have any talent on being very disruptive, but also running and hiding very well, then maybe you could help with the distraction that we'll do later.
You see, they kind of like puff up a little bit as you call them dragons.
Yep.
Amazing.
They say, no, we move rocks. Grey Dwarf's scary. Rocks will do.
Rocks. Or I may have you move some barrels instead. We'll see.
Barrels like wooden rocks.
Yes, they are. Very, very transferable skill set. Okay. Yes, so when it comes time for me to move some big rocks, be they wooden or earth, I'll come and find you.
Yes, rocks. We move rocks. You pay gold?
Yes, I pay gold.
You see, they kind of like narrow their eyes. They like lean in a bit and they say, "How much gold?"
Smart little things, aren't they?
I love it.
I love them, and they must be protected forever, and they're my new best friends.
One moment while Neville or Nariko checks her current trade union agreement. Because it sounds to me like these guys would be unskilled laborers. I think that's a fair assessment.
That is a fair assessment.
Okay. So, moving services.
Look at that face.
He's cutie.
So cute. So the services of a hireling. So an untrained hireling gets about 2 silver pieces per day. And there are 3 of these guys. So Nariko says that she will give them each 3 silver pieces, and she will buy them one of the nice dinner options here from the tavern for their little post-work celebration.
See, they kind of take a second, and they look at you with narrow eyes, and then they kind of like huddle in close. The 3 of them, they start whispering to each other. The red one turns back around, looks at you, Nariko, and sticks out a clawed hand and says, "We have deal."
Naruko smiles and shakes their hands as excellent. Welcome to the Von Grutzner Company.
Whoa,
Oh.
first big contract!
Oh my gosh.
We going into Enterprise now.
Oh my god, I love them so much.
I absolutely love it.
Dear Mother, so I've taken upon myself to hire on some new contractors for the company. They're the foremost experts in their field in Dumdaral after the labor shortage. Okay. So, Naruko has inspected, has determined they don't really know anything. But what the hell, she'll stimulate the economy a little bit. And we'll return back to Jade. Well, they worked in the mines, but mainly as laborers. I have enlisted their help with our upcoming project.
Oh, yeah, that's great. They look like they would know a lot, so.
Naruko sort of looks Jade somewhat askance at that assertion, but doesn't pursue it. Anyway, I think that with all the rough housing, we probably wouldn't want to make any big moves tonight. I know that we wanted to reconvene in the room for some private discussion. The only other thing I can think of is we may wish to talk with the temple to see if they have anything different than what the monastery had to say about their interactions with the Duergar.
Oh, yeah, there were clerics, right, who went in.
Indeed. Although, from what the miners can tell us, it didn't seem like they were able to do much of anything.
Well, I mean, I heard a little bit of what you were saying to everyone. Maybe at the very least we can get the clerics to be on distraction.
Indeed. I still haven't decided just yet how we would want to divide things. I figure that our group will definitely want to be using that back entrance. Just a question of how many more of our allies in town could really follow us in.
I mean, I guess it just comes down to what they're actually after. Because if they're actually looking for something, then us getting it and leaving means that they'd leave here, probably follow us though. Or we destroy the thing they're after, or get it somewhere they can't get.
Indeed.
There must be something, right? Like hidden inside the stone. Something that's not ore or gold. If they're not mining,
Yeah.
but still trying to dig.
If they blocked off the rear passage, that leads me to believe it probably connects closer to whatever site they're operating from.
I mean, even if not, then it's probably a place they're not paying too much attention to.
Correct. In that case, it probably would be best if the miners, the clerics, the monastery, directing their forces towards the main entrance may be the best in that case.
Might be.
If we, with us moving in as a smaller team, if we are able to just sort of quickly smash or grab and then get out, less chance of people getting hurt.
Yeah. Mine, not for nothing, but this was a little bit of a bar fight, and people already got. Well, the professor got pretty badly hurt, and then Yuki got hit, and I don't think we're going to distract them with a song. So maybe quick as we can, in and out. Not make a fuss, I guess.
Indeed. Sounds
Well-
like a good plan.
Do we want to go talk to the clerics tonight, or should we kind of pull back and talk amongst ourselves and then go in the morning or in the evening? What time is it right now?
You got in like the early mid-afternoon, talking with the brewery, bit of a bar fight. There was some bullshit with electricity. You're coming up like early evening at this point.
I mean, if we get a bit of a rest in, we could potentially be a distraction and an extraction team in the wee hours of the morning when no one's maybe least expecting it.
Perhaps. I think if we wish to discuss with the clerics, let's do that now before they close up the temple for the evening, and then
Sure,
we can discuss in our room before turning into the night.
that sounds like a good plan. Is everyone else all right? I mean, I've a little bit of magic left that I can expend for anyone else. If you're hurt, Yuki.
I'm okay. I'm alright. If anyone, please heal the professor a little more. I'm alright. I've just got a scratch or two. Be fixed by the morning.
Okay. I guess let's go see the clerics then. Reverie, are you okay?
Yeah, just concerned.
I know. Well, I suppose we go then and get other discussions over with.
Sounds like we're going to need all the help we can get.
Did I hear? I was concentrating on the professor more than anything, really. But did they say they had dogs? They had some sort of dogs?
Yeah, some sort of strange dogs.
Oh, strange dogs. Okay, I just thought it was regular dogs. I like dogs.
These dogs, something is off about them. They have a supernatural ability to detect intruders.
I assume intruder would be anyone who isn't a Duergar or the woman.
Indeed.
Was-
Otherwise, I would be much more intent on some sort of infiltration with stealth, but sounds like that would be very difficult, and given the threat that these pose, I would not want to be caught inside enemy lines. Alright. Going to the temple. Everything's right next to the main source of alcohol. That's a dwarf town, alright.
As it should be.
Awfully.
Cathilda approves. It's fun you knew where everything is.
Everybody good with heading to the temple?
Oh yeah.
All right. So you leave the inn, head towards the temple. The temple itself, it's a little dark. It's a little drafty in here. Again, typical dwarven style. There are high columns leading to a very large door. Everything made of stone. Inside it is very sparsely but attractively decorated. Some nice rugs thrown on the floor to try to help keep your feet warm. Simple looking pews lined up, looking an altar towards the back of the church, or temple. it is starting to get a little dark in here, and you do see just one person kind of milling about inside. There is an old man wearing white robes. He's got a little bit of wispy hair on the top of his head, and he also has a long, pointy white beard. But you do notice that this person is a human, not a dwarf. He's going around kind of starting to snuff out the candles in the temple, presumably preparing to uh, close up for the night, as it were.
Narco will approach the human. Would the honorific be brother or father?
Would be father in this case.
Father. Okay. Sorry to be visiting the temple so late, father, but could we have a word?
Kind of, his back's hunched a little bit. And he turns to you, and he's got like kind of a grandfatherly smile and a little bit of that twinkle in his eye. He looks at you, Narco, and he says, "Oh, good evening. Are you looking for a late night prayer session?"
I suppose we are, to an extent. My name is Narco von Gutzner, and with me are my companions, Jade, Ren, Reverie, Yuki, the Professor. We wanted to stop by. Since coming into town, we've heard of the various troubles with the mine. We ourselves are on something of a quest to investigate and apprehend the woman, this arcanist who has been working with the Duergar. As a result, we are making plans for one more attempt to try and, if not repel the Duergar from the mine, to at least discover what they're operating on down there and shut it down. And to that end, we talked with Abbot Olaf over at the monastery. We've talked with the Miners Guild. We've enlisted their assistance in this matter, and we wish to extend the same to you.
He kind of smiles and nods. And he says, "Well, it's nice to meet you all. My name is Father Vincent." There he is. Enlisted the Miners Guild, you say? Not many of them left.
No, but those that do certainly still have some fight left in them, that's for sure. Moreover, their maps and understanding of the mine system itself led me to believe that the mine tunnel that they collapsed for the back entrance might be more easily dislodged than might otherwise believe.
Well, that would be good news indeed. Uh, well, what assistance could I be of you?
So, were we to use this back entrance, we could clear it rather quickly once fell swoop and then run in. However, it would not be the most stealthy of operations. To that end, I know that there is the main entrance here that has their guards posted. Anyone who still is willing to take the fight to the Duergar, I'm enlisting them to make a very pointed assault at that point. Sort of put pressure on one side so that me and my fellows have a better chance of making a successful infiltration to whatever they're doing down there.
Jade, on your insight check, the vibe you get on this guy is that he's an old man. He's an old man. He's in charge of this temple. He's doing his best to keep it clean and operational, but you get the feeling that he's kind of alone.
Like he feels lonely, or he's alone in this temple?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Father Vincent looks at you, Narco, and he says, "I'm afraid I don't know much about any other entrance other than the main one. I have tried to approach with my clerics when I still had them here. We tried to get them to listen to reason, to show them that the city is suffering under their siege, but they do not seem to care. They appear to be a one-track mind, that they are looking for something and they don't intend to leave until they find it.
While your clerics were here, what became of them?
Well, there's no money coming in, no money, there's no congregation. They left to try to bring more people to Duergar to try to, I guess, spread the word of the Malter, as it were. Trying to bring more of the congregation back. They felt it was more important to do that, since our actions at the mines were ineffective.
I suppose that makes a sort of sense, although I feel bad for those who are still here at Duergar who don't have the followers of the martyr to tend to them while they're suffering.
I have been able to tend to those that I can. Our doors stay open as long as they can every day.
It has to be a little lonely.
There are days where it is hard to stay positive, but we remember the teachings of a martyr in that we suffer so that we may lessen the suffering of others. We suffer in their stead.
It doesn't really make much sense, but okay.
Well, sure it does. If we can shoulder the burden that others carry, then they do not have to take it alone.
Well, that's a better way of saying it.
I suppose then, Father Vincent, we're asking if you'd be willing to help us shoulder this burden.
I will do what I can, but I'm no adventurer. I'm not sure what help I could be of you, but if you can find a use for me, I'm happy to do what I can.
Do you have any magics of healing?
I do some, yes.
Then I think having you there to support the miners and the brothers when we do make this attack, I think that will be good enough, if nothing else.
Very well, but are you not concerned for your own safety? They have quite a formidable defense.
Oh yes.
So we've heard.
I will do what I can if it means bringing this city back to life. Though others have tried, and I must try to keep faith in those who continue to try.
That's really good. Are you closing up for the night?
Yes, it is getting late, and you see I'm the only one who runs the temple these days, so there's only so many hours that I can put in before I need my rest. I'm sure you can imagine.
Do you want to come with us to the inn and have dinner? They're singing songs. I'm sure everyone would love to see you.
Kind of smiles a bit. He says, "It's been a while since I've heard song from the inn. I think that would be nice."
Yeah. Why don't you come with us? And then you're not here by yourself.
I wouldn't want to impose.
Us not imposed if you're invited.
He kind of smiles a bit. You see that twinkle kind of come back in his eye, and he says, "If you say so, I think I would enjoy that very much."
Yeah. What do you need help with around here? And we'll help you, and then we'll all go over together.
Oh, I've already got this place buttoned up. I just need to put out the rest of the candles and close the doors for the evening.
Okay.
You don't have to wait up for me. I can meet you there.
It's all right. I'll wait with you.
You're very kind. And he'll continue to go out, put out the rest of the candles.
I think she's to everyone who's still here waiting, just to them, and just say, I think this town is a lot more sad than scary, really. In this part, anyway. It's got to be hard when everyone leaves.
Yeah. This isn't the Dunderall I remember.
Well, maybe when we're done, it'll be a little bit more like you remember.
Maybe. Prosperity came and went, but it was always together.
That's true.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of things when when you're together with other people.
I can't say I haven't been a little disappointed with how much we have to work with to try and fix what's wrong here, but
4 months is a long time to try and figure everything out on your own and keep getting disappointed.
I also don't know if we're going to be able to succeed where everyone else failed, but
We can try.
either. If nothing else, we have to try.
Yeah. And we'll try together, and it'll be different because we'll all be together.
We're certainly no ordinary bunch, that's for sure.
Yeah, and this time it won't just be the miners or the clerics. It'll be everybody. And I mean, we're probably the last thing they're expecting. I wouldn't expect us.
Unexpectable and unforgettable.
That's the truth.
That's I think that's the other way Mom used to talk about it. That one monk.
Edward?
Yeah. What I really wish I had is I wish I had any of his materials. Apparently he could brew. He brewed alcohol, but it was as magical as any potion he ever got. I bet if he was here, he could have some sort of potion that would turn you invisible or turn you into gas and you could slip through the cracks. Or
I heard, I mean, in the stories, he made all sorts of magic drinks, and it really helped everyone he was with. I think he had one that made you super fast, and I think he did have one that made you invisible. I don't remember though. I'll have to read back in that chapter. It had a whole list And the back of the book, like a recipe book. It didn't actually have the recipe in it, but it was like a recipe book, and it said what it was. And then it said how it tasted.
Well then, we'll just have to use some of von Groupster engineering in this case.
I mean, it's worked so far.
Naruto is going to redouble her efforts to start making calculations on what she's going to need to pull this off.
So Father Vincent goes around. He puts out the rest of the candles, and he meets you back at the front of the temple, and he smiles and he says, "I'm ready whenever you are."
Okay. Just this way then. And then we mug him.
Then we mug him.
What do we do? We are muggers! No.
Yes, the tavern, which is down the shady alley on Crime Street.
Crime Street. Why do people keep walking up this alley?
We really should rename that.
That was where Batman's parents got shot. It was like Crime Alley.
It was
or
Crime
something.
Alley. And it's just like, Bruce, I think your parents were on a suicide mission, because who goes to Crime Alley?
Like you left the theater. You couldn't find another way out.
Like this guy, like
Other
he
than
doesn't have
Crime Alley?
Alfred waiting in the limo with the heat on and the seat warmers up because he's a
Right.
rich motherfucker. Like he wouldn't
Like,
have that. And
at the front
7,000
door.
bodyguards. Yeah, no. No, let's just cut through. Let's cut through Crime Alley, perpendicular to. I'm gonna stab your kidneys way. No. Sounds like gunfire. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. It's nothing. I'm
So
gonna say it. His parents deserved it. I don't know.
That's victim blaming.
Don't be dumb. It's literally called Crime Alley.
Anywho, Father Vincent will follow you back to the Iron Knight Inn.
Well,
And there was much merriment making and rabble rousing. All by Father Vincent.
Whoa, I didn't want to do that.
ah, yes, more clones! Maximum clonage!
Shit!
No, my action economy!
Crap.
I could have had Bless and Bane going at the same time, guys.
Did I not? I guess I didn't copy the. No, my
You copied everyone except Father Vincent.
I think I
Yep.
did. No, you know what? I hit shift instead of control. That's my fault.
Yeah, good. Father Vincent's here. He's dancing on a table right now.
There we go. So Father Vincent walks into the Iron Knight Inn, and you see Garrick behind the bar. The miners are still singing. Garrick behind the bar lifts his glass. Father Vincent, please come to the bar. I owe you one. And you see he kind of shuffles up to the bar with a big smile, and he says, "Hello, Garrick, you old rumor spreader. How are you?" They they share some words back and forth. Garrick pours him a mug.
Well, it seems everyone's here in one place. Except for the monastery. Probably good, right? Probably good.
I think let's take a few moments to help the father get comfortable, and then we can return to our quarters to talk over what we've learned.
That sounds like a good plan.
Oh look, Jeffrey has a twin now. The tears in space-time are multiplying. That's great.
Oh,
Boy magic is so fun.
I'm sure they combine into one big monstrosity later.
Damn it, he said it wouldn't. He said it wouldn't.
Lies.
This whole campaign turns into some sort of weird gray goo scenario, except it's just Jeffrey multiplying every so many days. Like,
For the record, Ren would like to adopt Jeffrey Jr. whenever Jeffrey Jr. pops up. Just throwing that out there.
No?
Just splits like mitoses.
Ooh.
Everybody's
So
gonna have a sidekick by the end of the game. Alrighty. Good. A little bit of merrymaking, and then back to the inn room for discussion.
Yeah, Jade will take the time to actually have her discussion with the kobolds.
They're working for you now, so they'll happily chat with you.
Yay.
Yuki will go to the bar and she will buy another round for the table of dwarves.
By the round, Garrett brings it over to them. They're still singing. They see the other round come up, and they cheer for the other round, and they look at you at the bar from the table. They lift their mugs again, and they say, no hard feelings, lass, yeah?
She nods and she says, "None at all."
And they kind of nod, and they drink to that. So, you guys spend some time out in the tavern, drinking, buying some drinks, getting everybody comfortable and settled in. Towards the end of the evening, I suppose you guys are heading back toward your rooms?
Yes.
Yeah.
To discuss the plan. And with it being 10:59, that feels like a good place to stop for the evening.
Good game.
Yay!
Woo! So I need to come up with a sign off. And also, these are my questions from my kobold friends.
Put that in Discord, and I'll
Yep.
address. So awards tonight. I'm thinking Narco for MVP.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Getting everybody out of the danger zone. Yeah.
I will in turn nominate Yuki for straight up taking a man's milkshake and drinking it in front of him.
Yep.
Also, props to Professor for getting electrocuted in the name of science.
God, the electrocuted in the name of science bit was hilarious.
Absolutely props to Professor.
That was good.
I also want to say props to Ren for being like, you do not want to do this. Matrix dodging out of the way. I'm pretty sure you don't want to do this. You should have a better hobby.
Red did have
I can
some
help
really
you with
good
that.
quips. Red definitely
And
had some
then-
good quips.
And then the dwarf coming back and saying, well, don't have your friend insult us. And he's like, I have no control over that. Just very much like, you don't have control over your friends. I can't control mine. Why am I in this mess?
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I think I am leaning towards Yuki, though, because just taking this dwarf's beer and drinking it in his face.
Oh yeah.
That was a
I
bold move.
I like how Allison kept going like, no, it's a metaphor. It's like, not to the dwarf.
I like the boldness.
Plan.
It's really good if that had been like something that was being established as like, look, it's Jeff Goldblum doing like the whole chaos theory thing, and like we're gonna play a game. Nope, just straight up snatch this stranger's drink out of his hand. And a stranger who came up and said, hey, I'm gonna help you do this wild thing that you've been trying for months. And he's like, yeah, piss off. I don't know who the hell you are. And then you just steal his drink to prove a point.
A little confused on what point you're trying to prove.
Yeah. Great, you can take my drink. That doesn't help you against a wizard. I don't understand how this correlates. You didn't even try to talk to him first about like
No.
there's so many things that I can do that you don't know, and then steal his drink and like
Nope.
see how quick I am and give it back. Nope, just took his drink, drank it, and then tried to play it off like, see, shouldn't be mad, bro. Here's a gold. You could totally have another one, and it's like that's not the point. If someone came up and punched you and was like, "Don't be mad though, because here's the reason," and you're like, "Fuck you! Why would I not be mad?"
To be fair, though, a guy coming you up to in the street, punching you, and then explaining why you shouldn't be mad sounds exactly like something that like an old ancient Greek philosopher would do when they're taking the piss.
Yeah,
Like-
and that's why some of those old ancient Greek philosophers fucking died.
That's why they all got stabbed in the back.
That's why they all that's why a bunch of them got murdered.
Look, I hear that hemlock is delicious.
funny.
Okay.
I had a plan. What was your plan?
Yes, what was your plan?
What was the plan?
My
I
plan
really
was-
want to know what the plan was.
My plan was to Braveheart them. That was my plan.
How
I don't
like
think Braveheart started
by chugging
stealing
his
someone's
beer in
drink.
his face. How does that work?
I haven't seen the movie. What is the reference to Braveheart? What did Mel Gibson do?
He didn't
Hasn't
he
come
didn't take anybody's beer and chug it in their face. I know
No.
that.
He rallied them to the cause and was like,
Yeah.
no,
With an inspiring speech.
yes.
With an inspiring speech that happened whilst they were all like of the same mindset. Not like, hey, by the way, fuck you, but listen to me.
Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick.
I
Period.
mean, I'm not saying that
Says the person who stole a dwarf's beer with
Yeah.
their last gold.
Don't be. I was trying to fucking talk to you like a goddamn person. See,
Good night, Mars.
All you do is come up to him and say, hey, help us get your mind back. And he's like, you think you're gonna help us get this thing back? You're crazy. And then you stole his beer.
Be like,
you didn't
bitch.
even try to talk to him outside of that one sentence of like, hey, let me help you. And then the guy's like, I don't know you. Why would I let you help me? You're out of your mind. And you didn't even try to like, no, seriously, we're here to help because of X, Y, and
Abs-
I'm just gonna take your beer.
abs-
Just take it. Straight up take it.
Yep.
As if that had happened in real life and and someone came up to you and was like, hey, that shed problem you have, I totally can help with that. And you're like, sure you can, strange, crazy person who's listening to my conversations. I'll totally listen. And then he takes your drink, drinks it in front of you, and is like, no, but why? At all. Not to bring realism to this, but it's just it's
Listen,
funny because that scenario is exactly what just happened. And you going, no, but I have a Braveheart plan, is going, I don't think it works like that, because Braveheart didn't, like, make the guys not like him first.
listen, it makes sense in my mind. That's all that
I
matters.
like the town.
I'm not saying it doesn't. It's just very funny.
All right, I'm gonna take off. Have a good night, guys.
Nice to
Oh,
see
Good
you.
night.
good night.
I need to sign off.
Is this still going?
Yeah, it's still going.
Okay, sign off. We would like to give a big thanks to our sponsors, Von Grutzner Industries.
And Mel Gibson.
I would like to
Yeah.
thank we'd like to special thanks to the Hells for making a special appearance tonight, and
Iron Hammer Brewing. Let's get a shout out to
Yeah.
those guys.
As always, a reminder that just because we're sponsored by someone does not mean that they have any creative control over the content we produce.
even though we did create that content, that is sponsoring us.
That's like
Means
some
nothing.
deception stuff there. We created them. They created the. Wait.
We created them and the sponsorship, but don't worry, the sponsorship has no bearing on what content it is we create.
But then our
I
creation
promise.
has.
I
Or
promise that this sounds like it's some sort of money laundering scheme. My lawyers tell me that I need to say that it's not. So, also hashtag sponsored by McNeil and Sons. That's a lie. Mikhail never had children. No, that's a lie. He did, but he has a daughter. He doesn't have sons.
In the end, I
Did
think
you
what we're
sign
trying to
off?
say is, don't steal a dwarf spear.
Don't see. That's it. That's what you should sign off with every night. Is a life lesson that's been learned from that session. And the moral of this story is, don't steal a dwarf spear.
Don't be a dick.